Yeah, where I was coming from, Reza, is that if we can get the test infrastructure easy at the bottom, it means we can move faster, right? So we'll be able to make changes pretty quickly, drop it into the test cycle, make sure it all passes, and we'll be pretty confident everything's working, right? So I wasn't really sure what really to check up the application layer, but it's set up in a way to support, I call it life cycles. It's just you can keep building more and more tests if you want to check things.
Dave, I was setting a goal for the end of this month, or the phase we're in at the moment is infrastructure hardening. We're hardening what is a prototype infrastructure, and I set a goal of 80% test coverage. What you showed me today gives me confidence that we're not only going to be able to meet that, we're going to be able to exceed it, because I was thinking there's going to be a fairly complex test harness that needs to be developed, and you've showed us that maybe through Nix this is a lot easier.
Yeah, and that was the idea, and we can extend it, right? So obviously that's like the first version. Sounds like I've got to add all the storage stuff because that's happened while I've been working on this. But
yeah.
But that won't be hard. It'll be easy to add. And then in theory, this means that we won't have anyone with different versions of anything, right? They can just develop really quickly.
That's also cool because at the moment, each node is independent. They all go and do their own thing. And the version of each node, I have to go and bug, our buddy in Malta saying, "Hey, can you upgrade your version?" So we need to get beyond that. But great. Hands up, guys, if you have questions for Dave. I know Darren Warner must have lots of questions because Darren Warner's in the weeds of building stuff. I don't know if I see you there, but Darren, you're on camera. And how big is the Nix community? I see you guys are at scale. You had your own summit there.
Yeah, we had the multi-day event for Planet Nix. Honestly, I don't know how big the community is. The Anthropic are a massive Nix user. They do something like 60,000 builds a day using Nix.
Wow.
They've got the guy that used to be the main Rust build engineer for AWS is now the main build engineer for Anthropic, and he's all in on Nix. So he's been making a lot of changes to the Nix proper to make it even faster, and he's doing like distributed builds and this sort of thing.
Is NPM a competitor, or is it, does it do has different functionality to Nix?
Yeah, so a lot of the modern software comes with its own package management.
Right.
Quite nice, right? So Rust, for example, has the whole cargo. It's pretty good, right? And Python relatively recently got UV. That's their package manager. That's pretty good. But the thing about each of those is they're like solving specific packaging issues, whereas Nix solves all of them. So I actually just sent a pull request to OpenClaw project to add Nix to it, and I can pin all of the versions of the PNPM packages, right? So what OpenClaw does is they give you a pretty small Docker image and that PNPM config file, right? And then when you start it, it pulls down all of the things. Whereas with the Nix version, I can pin all of those versions into the container, and I can cryptographically hash them all, so I know they haven't changed. So
right.
That was a long answer to yes.
Hence, I see AZ's got his hand up. AZ.
In chat, Dave, it's a basic question regarding how does one address security concerns? How do you assuage, an individual's concerns? Hey, how do I know that the person who's put together NixOS is well-meaning and hasn't embedded something in the OS?
Yeah, good question. So what we're doing, what Nix does, for example, with Linux, is it'll be tracking a particular git commit hash, and then when we pull that down, we lock it with another hash, which we call the nar hash, and we do that for all of the source that we download. So any of the, the Python libraries or anything, we've got them all hashed. And so we're still relying on the upstream, open source contributors to check that nothing bad gets committed in there. But we're slightly better because, you could potentially change the Git, right, upstream if you wanted to rewrite the history or whatever. And our nar hash will catch that. So it is safer than what you might otherwise have.
So the last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, when Claude Code, the map file got released, that was via NPM, wasn't it? That wasn't via...
Yeah, I didn't know the whole story there. And didn't one of the repos also got really nasty stuff pushed into it? I forget what happened.
I heard the rumor was, so this happened on either the 29th or the 30th. They were hurrying to get the release out because the new version had some Easter eggs in it for April 1st. And so it turns out the April Fool's joke was actually on them.